Hello mariners, hope you all are doing well. So this video we are going to discuss on Annex 1, the remaining part which I had not covered in the Annex 1 part 1 video. So please go and watch that video too, and that video is fully covered related to our vertical positioning of the light, and this video we are going to cover with the horizontal positioning and spacing of light and rest part of the Annex 1. So be till end and watch it. Hope you will clear it, and also watch the previous video and like and subscribe the channel too. Thank you. So let's start with 3a, that is our horizontal positioning and spacing of light. So first it's saying that the when two masted light are prescribed for a power driven vessel, the horizontal distance between them shall not be less than one half of the length of the vessel but need not be more than 100 meter. The forward light shall be placed not more than 1/4 of the length of the vessel from the stem. Means the horizontal distance from forward light to the aft light, the distance should be half of the ship length. Let's assume the length of a ship is L, therefore the distance between them should be L by 2, or other way it's saying that it should not be more than 100 meter. The next part, but shall need not be more than 100 meter. If suppose the vessel length is 400 meter, then as per the rule it's saying that the distance between this masted light and this masted light should be L by 2, but in that condition the L by 2 is 400 is 200, therefore the distance between this and this should be 200. But the other way it's also saying the distance between the spacing should not be more than 100 meter. And whereas one thing more, it's also saying that the distance of the forward masted light from this stem area should be not more than 1/4 of the length of the ship. It should not be more than 1/4 of the length of the ship in any case. Now point number B. So on a power driven vessel of 20 meter or more in length, the side light shall not be placed in front of the forward masthead light. They shall be placed at or near the side of the vessel. So now it's the point B. 3.B is talking about the positioning and placing of the side light. So it's clear saying the side light should not be in the forward area, of near to the forward masthead light. It's clear saying it's saying that the side light should be placed in the side of the vessel. So they shall be placed at or near the side of the vessel. It should not be placed in front of masthead light. In front of masthead light, the side light should not be placed. It should be placed in the side, anywhere in the side, but it should not be placed in front of the masthead light, forward of the masthead light. So now let's talk with rule number 3C. So it's saying when a light prescribed in rule 27B first or rule 28 are placed vertically between the forward masthead light and the after masthead light, this all round light shall be placed at a horizontal distance between not less than 2 meter from the fore and aft center line of the vessel in the outward ship direction. So it's clearly saying, first of all we need to know the what is light prescribed in rule number 27B. So first 27B first is saying it's a light for a vessel, for a ram vessel that is restricted in her able to maneuver. For that vessel the lights are prescribed as red, white, red in a vertical line. And 28 is vessel light prescribed by the vessel constant by her draft. For that it is a light is red, 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 3 red light in a vertical line. So now it's saying that this light should be placed in between of the forward masthead light and the aft masthead light. But where this light should be placed, so this light should be placed should not be placed less than, it's not more than, it's talking about less than 2 meter from the forward and aft center line in the earthward direction. So this is our forward and aft center line. So from here the distance of this light should be not less than of 2 meters, should not be less than of 2 meter. It should be more than of 2 meter for this additional light, and also in the earthward direction, only in the earthward direction. In any case it should not be less than 2 meter, it can be more than 2 meter. So it's because why it is prescribed as 2 meter, because we may not be able to see this light, because as the horizon of the masthead light R is 2 to 5 degree. So due to this 2 to 5 degree arc of visibility, we might not be able to see this additional light. So for that reason they had prescribed that the additional light should be placed in a earthward direction, not less than 2 meter from the center line. Hope it's clear to you guys. Now it's moved with the point number 3D. It's saying only when one masthead light is prescribed. Now it's about the only one masthead light. So if only one masthead light is prescribed for a power driven vessel, the light shall be exhibited forward of the amidship, except that the vessel of a less than 20 meter in length need not exhibit the light forward of midship, but shall exhibit it as far forward as practicable. So it means that if the light are if only one masthead light is required for the size of the, as per the size of the vessel, that if the vessel is less than 50 meters, then only one masthead light is required. So in that case the position of this forward light shall be forward of amidship. Amidship means it's a L by 2, means the half length. So approx this will be the amidship for this vessel. So in this scenario it should be the forward of the amidship. It's not indicating that how much forward, just is saying the forward of the amidship. Whereas one more thing, it's saying if a length of a vessel is less than 20 meter, now it's saying not exhibit this light forward of midship, no required to exhibit forward. It's only saying that it shall be as forward as practicable. If it's if it is practicable to install the forward light here, it is much good enough, or it is if practicable in the midship, then it is good enough. No requirement for amidship, forward of amidship, just saying that as forward as practicable. Hope it's clear to you guys. So now let's talk with 4. That is 4 is the detail of location of direction indicating the lights for a fishing vessel, treasures, and a vessel engaged in underwater operation. So in point number 4 we are going to talk about the vessel in engaged in underwater operation, fishing vessel, and a vessel draggers. So point number first. So first is saying that the light indicating the direction of the outlying gear from a vessel engaged in a fishing as prescribed in rule 26C second shall be placed at a horizontal distance of not less than 2 meter and not more than 6 meter away from the two all-round red and white light. This light shall be placed not higher than the all-round white light prescribed in rule 26C and not lower than the side light. So now let's decode this, what it's saying that. So first part, so now let's talk with it. So now first it's saying that as per rule number 26C second part, that is the light which we use when the gear is, for a fishing vessel, that gear is extending outside. So for that, the first point it's saying that the it's talking about rule number 26C first. 26C first, that is the light prescribed for a fishing vessel, that is red and white. First point. The second point, now it's talking about the extending gear, how it should be, how it should be, the light should be there. So now it's saying that the light which we are for extending gear, it should not be higher than this all round white light. The height should not be more than this. And whereas the other points talking, it should not be, the height of the light of the extending gear should not be less than this side light. So now next, and the important point about its horizontal distance placing, it's saying that the distance of that light should not be less than 2 meter. Means the light which are placed, it should not be less than 2 meter. It should be placed away from white light, that is by a distance of 2 meter or more. And one thing, it should not exceed 6 meter. The important things means the limitation of that light is between 2 to 6 meter, not less than 2 and not more than 6. Whereas the distance, the height, that is the vertical height, should not be higher than the white light and should not be lower than the side light. That is our side lights. Hope it's clear to you guys. Now let's talk with 4B. That is the light and shape or a vessel engaged in dragging or underwater operation to indicate the obstruction and or the side on which it is safe to pass, prescribed in rule 27D first and 2, shall be placed at a maximum practicable horizontal distance, but in no case shall be less than 2 meter from the light or shape prescribed in rule 27B first and 2. In no case shall be the upper of this light or shape be greater higher than the lower of the 3 lights of the prescribed rule 27B first and. So now let's move on. Now it's talking about the light. So it's saying that the light which are for a vessel of dredging, that is rule 20D first. It's saying that in that first, it's saying we talk about the light that is on which side the work is taking place, or the side which is obstructed, that we cannot pass, that is indicated by 2 red light. Whereas the part 27D2, it's talking about the side from which we can pass, that is a 2 green light in a vertical line. Now the next, it's also saying, now what next point is saying, that the height, the distance, the horizontal distance of this light shall be as away as practicable, as far as practicable, but shall in any case should not be less than 2 meter from the light or the shape prescribed in rule number 20B first and 20B first and 2. That is, 2 is talking about the day signal and the first is talking about the lights, that is 3 red light in a vertical line. So suppose this we have placed here 3 red light in a vertical line as per the lights and shapes that we had already discussed, that this light shall be not less than in a horizontal distance of 2 meter. Now it is already 2 meter away in the earthward direction from the masthead light. Now again, for this light to be placed, it should be as far from this light, as far from this light, which is already 2 meter away from the center line, that is with respect to our masthead light. Now this light should also be 2 meter away from this red light and should be as far as practicable, but should not be less than 2 meter. Now one more point, it's in the sentence it is adding that with respect to the vertical height, it should be not, the height should not be the higher than the lower of this all 3 lights. So you can see it here, it is clear written that in no case shall be the upper of these 3 these lights or the shape shall be greater higher than the lower of the 3 of this shape, these lights or the shape. Where I hope it's clear to you. So now let's talk with point number 5, that is the screen for side light. So for that, the side light of a vessel or of 20 meter or more in length shall be fitted with an inboard screen painted matte color, matte black, and meeting the requirement of section 9 of this annex on a vessel of less than 20 meter in length. The side light, if necessary to meet the requirement of a section 9 of this annex, shall be fitted with the inboard matte black screen with a combined lantern using a single vertical filament and a very narrow division between the screen green and the red section external screen need not be fitted. So now let's talk it. Now first point is we are going to discuss about our lights, and that how it should be positioned, that side light for the screen. It's a screen, means it's we are talking about the background screen, okay, and that will have to meet with the annex section 9. So we will discuss in a few minutes. That is point number 9 is section 9 is about the horizontal sectors. So now let's talk about this part right now. So first, the side light of a vessel of 20 meter or more in length shall be fitted to the inboard. Now this is your light, and suppose the background, this is light, it's showing the forward in a forward direction. For this it's forward direction, okay, and now suppose, and the background of this light is suppose that is white or some different color. So what it will do, it will absorb the light, or it will show some shady color. So to reduce that kind of interference, we need to do a matte black paint, so that the light which it is emitting, it should maximum should be emitted. So for that only, it's saying that for a vessel of 20 meter more in length, the inbound screen should be painted with a matte black, and meeting the requirement of section 9 of this annex. Now let's point this saying about the for a vessel of 20 meter, less than 20 meter. So for a vessel of less than 20 meter, the first condition is that the lights are to be in a lantern. So this is a lantern, and this is a lantern, and it is divided into two parts. That is, one side is green, the other side is red. So now it's saying that the point is saying that shall be fitted with the inboard. For this also, the inboard should be painted with a matte black color. And the other point, it's saying that with a combined lantern using a single vertical filament with a very narrow, they should have a single vertical filament, and the division between the green and this red should have a very narrow division. It should not like that something has been put inside it and it's separating the light. No, it should not be like that. It should be a very narrow division. Hope it's clear. Let's move to point number 6. Let's talk with point number 6 first, that is our shapes. What shapes to be used? So now first, 6A, the shape shall be black and of the following sizes. The first requirement is the color should be of a black color, okay, the first requirement. And now next point, we are going to deal about its size, that what is the requirement of size. Now first is saying the ball which we used for our anchors and other purpose, the diameter of that ball should not be less than of 0.6 meter. Next, the code about the cone that we use for a fishing vessel, apex downward vertical cone. So for that, the base should not be less than 0.6, whereas the height of that cone should be equal to the diameter. Now for the cylinder, its base should not be less than 0.6, whereas the height of that cone should be twice the diameter. Point number 4, the diamond which you use shall be equals to that of the diameter which is required for the cone. Now in other words, saying that the diamond shall be consist of a 2 cone. This diamond should be consist of a 2 cones meeting the requirement of the base of 0.6 and the diameter and the height is equals to the diameter. Now the 6 point B, that is the vertical distance between the shapes shall be at least 1.5 meter. The vertical distance means suppose two shapes we are going to use for a vessel of, that is vessel constant by draft CVD. For that we are going to use 3 balls in a vertical line. So for that, the vertical distance between each ball shall be at least 1.5 meter. So now point C, that in a vessel of less than 20 meter in length, shapes of a lesser dimension but commensurate with the size of a vessel may be used and distance apart may be correspondingly reduced. So what this means, it's nothing, it's just kind of exemption has been given under rule number C 6C, that it's saying that if a vessel is less than 20 meter, the size of the balls, the size of the shapes, that is ball, cylinder, cone, diamond, it can be reduced accordingly, and also the vertical separation between the ball and the cone, ball, that size also can be, that vertical separation can also be reduced accordingly. Hope you liked it. We will direct move to the point number 9, that is horizontal sector. We will not discuss with point number 7 and 8 because it's entirely a theory topic. You need to open your book once, so what exactly it's showing and what it's saying, you need to see once your book. So let's move, because point number section 7 is talking about the color specification of the light, and whereas point 8 is talking about the intensity of the light. Intensity, it's about its power. So we will discuss with point number 9, that is horizontal sector. So let's begin with it. First. In the forward direction, the side light as fitted on a vessel shall show the minimum required intensity. The intensity shall decrease to reach a practical cutoff between 1 degree and 3 degree outside the prescribed sector. So as side light is prescribed to show the light in a sideways direction, but if due to any cause, means it's saying that the side light should not show in a forward direction with a high intensity. The intensity should be so reduced that it should not show the light more than 1 degree to 3 degree from its prescribed light. For the prescribed light or side light, that is 112.5. That is the sector of a side light. So for that, it's saying that the which it is allowed, that the maximum it's allowed is that it should not be more than 113.5 to 114.5 degree. So it should not increase. That is the basic point. It's saying that the allowable intensity or the arc it's allowed is 1 to 5 degree. Let's move to a second part. So now 9A2, what it's saying. So for stern light and masthead light at 2.5 degree above the beam for a side light, the minimum required intensity shall be maintained over the arc of horizon, but up to 5 degree within the limit of the sector prescribed in Rule 21. For 5 degree within the prescribed sector, the intensity may decreased by 50% up to prescribed limit. It shall increase the intensity steadily to reach practicable cutoff at not more than 5 degree outside the prescribed. So rule number 20 is just a specification, that it's a definition which talk about what is the intensity, how is the lights, what are the arc light, what is the masthead light, what is the stern light, what is the side light. So now let's talk. It's talking about the masthead light. For masthead light, that light should be, that is of 2 to 5 degree. For stern light, the light should be of 135 degree. The side light is prescribed as 112.5 degree. So now it's saying that the light should be, the intensity, if it is decreased, it should not decrease by more than 5%. Should not decrease by more than 5%, means the entire sector of the light is 2 to 5, so it should not be decreased more than 5%. Now the after decreasing, the light should not be less than of 5%. So that is this should be the intensity of the light, should show this much area, should be shown at all time. Where in case if it is saying if the intensity is increased, it should not also be increased by more than 5%. Only 5% is allowed on the both side, either in the decreased side or in the increased side. It should be maintained even for the side light, whereas for also the stern light, or also with our masthead light. 9B first. What it says? It says that the all-round light shall be so located as not to be obscured by the mast, top mast, or structure within the angular sector or more than 6 degree, except anchor light prescribed in Rule 30, which need not be placed at the impracticable height above the hull. So it's saying that if any all-round light we are using any all-round light, the light should not be obscured, means it should not be in any direction, the light should not be restricted. The light should not be restricted in any of the direction. It should with mast, with any superstructure, with anything, the light should not get restricted with all the rest. And also it's saying, but the lights are exempted in rule number 30. That is, rule number 30 is lights for a vessel which are anchored. So it's saying that for that kind of vessel, it is not saying that it should be which need not to be placed at impracticable height above the hull. So now 9.2, it is impracticable to comply with paragraph B first of this section by exhibiting only one all-round light. Two all-round light shall be used suitably positioned or screened so that they appear as far as practicable as one light at a distance of 1 mile. So what is this? So it's saying that whatever we have discussed in 9b, section 9b1, that it should not be, if it is impracticable to do that, if it is impracticable to do, then in such scenario what we can do, we can just simply, instead of using one light, we can use two light. We can use two light, but that two light shall be such place that if it is seen from a practicable far away, that light should be seen as a single all-round light. But there should be a limit of seeing, that the limit to see that light, that from seeing from 1 mile, after seeing that light, for that two different light are used, and after we are seeing it from 1 mile, that both the light should show as a single light. Hope it's clear, guys. So now let's point 10, that is a vertical sector. And we are talking about now vertical sector. That is, vertical sector means in a up and down direction. Okay, so now let's move. So first, the vertical sector of a electric light as fitted with exemption of the light on a sailing vessel underway shall ensure. For a sailing vessel shall ensure that first, at least the required minimum intensity is maintained at all angle from 5 degree above to 5 degree below. So now it's saying that for sailing vessel, whatever the vertical height and the intensity is required for that electric light should be maintained for also for the 5 degree above the horizon and 5 degree below the horizon. Suppose this is our light, and what it is saying that this light is maintained means able to show a vertical distance in a straight line. Suppose this is a straight line. Now it's saying that it should also be capable to maintain its intensity with 5 degree upward and 5 degree downward too. A2, at least 60% of the required minimum intensity is maintained from 7.5 degree above to 7.5. Same, it's talking about the other way. Now it's also saying, it's saying that the 60% of intensity of the light should be maintained for 7.5 degree above the horizon and 7.5 degree below the horizon. Now it's talking about how much intensity is to be maintained. So for that, it's talking about the 60% of the entire intensity of the light to be shown 7.5 meter above the horizon and 7.5 meter below the horizon. The horizon is whatever the fixed for that light. So 10b, in case of a sailing vessel underway, the vertical sector of electric light as fitted shall ensure. Now it's talking about a sailing vessel. So for sailing vessel, at least the required minimum intensity is maintained at an angle from 5 degree above to 5 degree below the horizon. Means whatever the intensity is given for that light, that power, it should be maintained 100% intensity of the light to be maintained 5 degree above and 5 degree below the horizon. And point number 2 is saying at least 50%. At least 50% of the required minimum intensity maintained from 25 degree above to 25 degree below the horizon. Now 50% intensity of the light to be maintained for a sailing vessel, underway. So 50% intensity of the light to be maintained 25 degree above the horizon and 25 degree below the horizon. So point C, in the case of a lights other than a electric, this specification shall meet as closely as possible. In case of a light and other light instead of electric light, this intensity has to be, this rule has to be maintained as closely as practicable and as possible. Now intensity of non-electric lights, that is section 11, talking about the intensity, that if it is not an electric light, then what should be the intensity of other lights. So now the non-electric light shall, so far as practicable, comply with the minimum intensity as specified in the table given in section 8 of this annex. That it is already we had crossed, that is all almost we need to memorize that thing, so we just skip it. Let's move to section 12, that is maneuvering light. So what is maneuvering? Maneuvering light are the light which we use during the maneuvering. It's for a light you have seen for like as a steering lights, but we used during this techniques, such kind of the light which we used. So now, notwithstanding the provision of paragraph 2F of this annex, the maneuvering lights prescribed in rule 34B shall be placed in same fore and aft vertical line as the masthead light or the lights. So notwithstanding provision of paragraph 2F. Paragraph 2F is we have already discussed the lights which we used as a NUC and for a vessel of C constant by her draft. So as a same that, so now 34B is a signal intensity, that while maneuvering, while altering to port, altering to starboard, giving a full stern, at that condition what we sound signal we used. So it's that shall be placed in same, and instead of sound signal we used that light. So that light should be placed in same fore and aft vertical line, that is this is C and this is a fore and aft vertical line, places as the masthead light or the lights are placed. Now where practicable, if practicable means at a minimum height of 2 meter vertically above the forward masthead light. Now that maneuvering light should be, where practicable, should be at a minimum height. The minimum height that to be maintained from the forward masthead light to the maneuvering masthead to the maneuvering light should be the distance, the minimum distance should be of 2 meter. Now the provision that is shall be carried not less than 2 meter vertically above or below the masthead lights, should not be less than. And on a vessel where only one mast light is practicable, the maneuvering light, if fitted, shall be carried where it can best be seen not less than 2 meter apart from the masthead light. Now in any case, if one single masthead light is carried and maneuvering light are installed, that light should be as practicable as possible, that it should not be less than of 2 meter. Means in any case we have to maintain the distance from the masthead light to the maneuvering light is by 2 meter. We have to maintain this, it's fixed. Now point number 13, again it's high speed craft. It's nothing much that I can explain to you. Same you have to guys read it. So sorry I am unable to explain this rule because there is nothing to explain. So let's move to point number 14, section 14, that is approval. So approval, the construction of light and shapes and the installation of the light on board the vessel shall be to the satisfaction of the appropriate authority for the state whose flag the vessel is entitled to fly. Means this construction, this requirement, who will monitor it? So it is given the authority flag state whose the vessel is entitled to fly the flag. So now this verification, these things will be done, this monitoring will be done by the flag state. Flag state will see the vessel, whether the vessel has met the requirement or not. Hope guys you would like this video and understand. If you really liked and understand, then please give a like and subscribe the channel and share with your friends too. Thank you and Jai Hind.